If you hate memorizing and want to improve your memorization skills, this video is for you. Today I'll be sharing an effective memory technique that will simplify the memorization process so that you don't have to feel lost when you memorize. Let's talk about memory from a brain science perspective. When we memorize and bring new information into our brains, a series of neuron activities happen. At the synapse, glutamate and its receptors such as NMDAR and AMPAR bind together to form a strong connection. The active binding of glutamate and its receptors increases synaptic strength by triggering long-term potentiation, which is the process of forming memories. So the stronger the neuron activity in our brain, the better our long-term memory becomes. The key idea is that if we can stimulate our brains, we can transfer almost all the information that we study into long-term memory. Do you know why you still remember this one scary scene from a movie that you watched more than 10 years ago? Because you brought it out that scene numerous times. This is how memorization works. Memorization is not about putting the information into our brains, but bringing out that information from our brains. If you have spent many hours trying to memorize but didn't do well on your test, think about whether you are focusing on putting information into your brain versus taking information out of your brain. Mindless reading of notes and slides for hours and hours is one of the most ineffective ways to memorize for long-term memory. By the way, this is what many students do, but numerous scientific research has proved that this method is inefficient and not productive as other methods. So let's talk about another method that is far more superior than what many students use to memorize. For this method, you just need a paper and a pen. Fold a piece of paper like this and write all of the terms that you have to memorize in each box. Once you finish writing all of the terms, cut it out and mix it up. Pick one paper and look at the term. I picked helicase. For this term helicase, I'm going to list all of the information that I know about this topic by speaking it out and writing it down on my notes. Helicase, it unwinds double helix and happens at replication fork, prepares for DNA replication, I believe. If you don't remember that term or keyword, feel free to go back to your notes and repeat it. When you memorize like this, you're learning most effectively by checking what you already know and focusing on topics that you're not sure of. If you want to study less and perform well, learn to focus on the right material to study. When you use this technique, what you're doing is adding another sense to your study, which is hearing. Traditionally, students read a textbook and write notes to memorize. They're using two senses, which are sight and touch, to help them memorize by making information meaningful. But when you speak it out while you memorize, you're adding hearing, which now you're using three senses to memorize. The study has found that by actively using our senses when learning, our body builds nerve connections in the brain's pathways, which allows us to use multiple parts of our brains. The more sense we use for our learning, the better and more meaningful it becomes, which produces greater learning outcomes. As you speak out, you will trigger hearing. As you write, you will trigger touch. And as you read, you'll trigger sight to maximize your learning ability. I hope that this memorization technique is very helpful, as it helped me and helped numerous medical students to succeed in their academics. Don't be afraid to try a new method, because this new method can save half of your study time while doubling the effectiveness of your memory. Thank you so much for watching this video, and later.